unalivers themselves. I do believe he may have said that because they like to brag. And they'll brag in a way that you don't know what they're talking about. It'll come out years later, right? So if he says, yeah, she didn't scream, and the person looks at him and is like, are you joking? Like and he's got them. And they love that. They love it. You don't know if he's coming or going. He gets to spook you a little. He gets to tease it a little. They want to talk. Humans have a very hard time holding secrets. They will say them in different ways. And that's why I think Helga Bushing, and I think he was a criminal too, I guess, small, petty criminal. But you give that guy credit. He kept calling Scotland Yard, Metro London Police, whatever you want to call them. He did it on the 10-year anniversary. He said, look, they didn't listen to me at first, so I called again. And then they started to listen to me. I think Helga Bushing is one of the key people that got the Germans to really look at Brueckner between 2017 and 2020. I think, and they stole his camera, Brueckner's camera, I believe, and helped put him away for either the 70-year-old woman crime or another one. He talks about that. So I would not doubt that story at all.
So J.A. Mills has got an objection. Let's hear how you respond to this. J.A. Mills is saying, and yet for all that he is or has done, there's nothing of any evidentiary value forensically or physically that places Christian anywhere near 5A, let alone Madeleine, and don't even start me on a phone ping. How do you respond to that?
Okay. Well, that's false. There is evidence. There is digital forensic evidence, and he doesn't. And he wants to get rid of that. See, he wants to tell you, don't tell me about the phone ping. That's actually digital forensic evidence that's used in court. He is in the vicinity. He is there. He's less than a mile away, and it doesn't always project or pinpoint exactly where they are. If Christian Brueckner was in a different country, cool. You got it. Sounds good, right? Okay. So the suspicion of him. Now the DNA, he's partially correct. The DNA, when they're hitting the window or whatever at Maddie's room, they don't have his DNA, supposedly, right? And there was some mix up about how they were doing that and that the crime scene was contaminated somewhat also. But this is what I would say to Mr. Mills. I don't care about the evidence. If I feel he did it, you investigate it all the way until he proves he didn't do it. And I'm not a judge. I'm not the court, right? I'm not the cops. I can't arrest him. So I respect the question, but I'm saying, and look, we don't know what the German authority, obviously they have something. The Walters guy wouldn't have gone on CBS 48 Hours in Germany, right? And said, we have reason to believe this is the guy. He said it with conviction. So we will see what they have, in Mr. Mills's case of hard evidence.
Let me just do a quick poll on the viewers then. Viewers, put a 1 in the chat if you think Christian B was involved in the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. Put a 2 in the chat if you think Christian B was not involved in the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. And, we interviewed Hazel Bean, I think it was yesterday morning, actually, and she was a survivor of Christian B, and she had been R-worded. She had been R-worded by him in that vicinity, and he'd broke into her flat 2 weeks before he R-worded her. So he was up to all kinds of crimes in that vicinity.
Right, I have it here. Praia da Roca, I believe. She was in 2004, right? I think her case was 2004. This is the young Irish woman, right?
Yes.
And this is just east of Praia da Luz, right? This is close.
Yep.
Okay, yep. This area. Now also watch. I'm glad we're going there because I have my timeline here, some of my notes. Season 04, in 05. Literally in Praia da Luz, this is where the 72-year-old woman is attacked and filmed. Okay. Now, in that year, now there's a little discrepancy whether it's 05 or 06. There's a teenage girl filmed by him. This might be the one that they found the tape that Helga Bushing found. And where was she? Praia de Luz. Again, he is here in the town. He is in the vicinity, the immediate vicinity. Okay. Then he's arrested and convicted for theft of fuel in Portugal in 06. Now here comes 2007. A young girl is assaulted on a beach in Salema, Portugal, just west of Praia de Luz. Okay, very close to Maddie's kidnapping. Maddie McCann disappears from Praia de Luz, May 3rd, 2007. Okay, all these things are building up. He's active. He's there. And this is something, obviously it's a red flag, and any police would be looking at that too. Whenever you have a missing person, they immediately look at the criminals in the area. Absolutely. They have to. So, and there was a charge dropped. The Portuguese authorities dropped the charge, the assault charge on the older woman. Only the Germans brought the charge against him almost a decade later for that. And it didn't even occur in Germany. So, like I tried to tell the German source, I think you guys are somewhat heroes. Look, maybe it fell in your lap. He's a German citizen. You kept catching him in Germany with the RVs, the swimsuits. There's obviously DNA evidence. They're not telling us everything, man. They have something else that we don't know about, okay? So maybe it fell in their lap. Doesn't matter. I don't care. It doesn't matter. We're here. They have Brueckner. They have the opportunity. Now, let's switch it over to the UK. And this is something where it hits home for you. I would pose the question to you, Shaun. Don't you think Scotland Yard or Metro London Police, what are they doing? Why aren't they pulling Brueckner in for questioning? Why aren't they flying out? Because I've been told they've been given all the files. They've been told since day one. Where are they? It's their case too. So whether they have to team up or whose jurisdiction, you know, the McCanns want justice, right? So their lawyers should be all over Brueckner until there's some hard alibi or something that really says, okay, no, we don't think he did it. That is not the case right now.
So my understanding is that Brueckner has refused to ever talk about this case to anyone.
Doesn't matter. We're not asking him for permission. You still put him in a room. You still question him. You make him whatever their version of the Fifth Amendment is, let him plead it. You film him. You record him. You talk to him. I don't care if they sit there for 3 hours and don't say a word. I've done very high profile cases, very dangerous cases. You don't ask for permission. You have to be predatory.
So Mills is back saying that Christian was cleared of any involvement of anything to do with Inga. And
that's not true. That's not true.
With Hazel being, Christian was cleared of that as well. But it doesn't mean he didn't do it. I think.
He's not cleared. Hazel. Yeah. No,
the judge said
cleared. Yeah.
The judge said that Hazel couldn't possibly identify him through his eyes, or the prosecutor said he couldn't possibly be identified through something ridiculous. And he was acquitted on all charges. And this guy knows how to play the system.
Didn't they have DNA of her? Wasn't there DNA? Did they never test her for the DNA on her?
They completely trashed the crime scene. They took her right back to the crime scene. They brought everybody in there and completely trashed it. And the whole thing was an absolute fiasco. The cops were following her around after the incident to see if she was sleeping around so they could discredit her because they were worried it was affecting tourism coming to Portugal.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there should have been DNA. I won't say the word. There's the kit. They should have had that done. There would have been DNA from Brueckner on her physically.